Bada bing, bada boom. Social Inform Media.
This story comes to us from the IdahoStatesman.com. And if you're in Idaho, you might like this one. A judge has set a precedent regarding a canine dog, and some of you might like this. Maybe they should do this all over the country. But the Idaho Supreme Court has vacated a Mountain Home man's conviction for felony drug possession and delivery after it ruled that a police drug-sniffing dog trespassed and conducted an illegal search by putting its paws on his vehicle, prompting the search that led to his arrest. Once it put its paws up there, it was trespassing. What did he say? Hey, get off my car. And it didn't. Should have gave the dog a citation. The court issued its decision after 3 of the 5 justices in agreement and 2 dissenting. So it was 3-2. That's all it takes. The case centered on 2019 arrest of Kirby Dorff. According to court documents, the officer said Dorff was stopped by a patrol officer in Mountain Home after Dorff drove across lanes of traffic without using a signal. A second officer arrived with a police canine named Nero, who was trained to detect illegal drugs. Now, while Dorff explained to the first officer he didn't have a valid driver's license or proof of insurance, Nero began sniffing around the car. Police body camera footage showed the dog jumped up against the car multiple times, including once when his paws rested on the driver's side door and window as he sniffed the upper seams of the car. Now, just to bring the dog out and have it start sniffing, they have to have probable cause. They can't just go, hey, you got drugs in here. Let's see what our dog says. They can't do it. It's a Fourth Amendment violation. Police searched Dorff's vehicle based on the dog alerting them to the presence of drugs. The officers found a pill bottle, folded papers, and a baggie that had a white substance, later testing for meth. According to the court documents, the vehicle's passenger told police Dorff had shown him a baggie of meth at a motel room they were sharing. Court filing said that when the police searched the room, they found 19 grams of meth and additional drug paraphernalia. Dorff was charged with felony delivery and possession of a controlled substance and misdemeanor drug paraphernalia possession. Charges, he argued, stemmed from Nero trespassing on his vehicle. Dorff's attorney submitted a motion to suppress or exclude the evidence from the case, which an Ada County District Court judge rejected. So it goes to the Supreme Court. Dorff pleaded guilty on the condition that he could appeal the denial of his motion to suppress evidence. In 2020, he appealed to the Idaho Supreme Court. That's the way you do it. Justice Robin Brody, in the majority opinion, wrote that justices weighed whether the dog's intrusion on the exterior of Dorff's vehicle constituted trespassing, as it would have if the dog entered the interior of the vehicle. Moving on, ultimately, Brody wrote she and Justices John Stegner and Colleen Zahn agreed that the exterior of the vehicle is protected by the Fourth Amendment, which protects against unlawful searches. She said the drug-sniffing dog intermeddled with Dorff's personal effects by jumping on the car. The right to be secure in your persons and property. Justice Brody wrote, intermeddling is the difference between someone who brushes up against your purse while walking by and someone who, without privilege or consent, rests their hand on your purse or puts their fingers into your purse before your eyes or behind your back. So in other words, you can't just walk up and then put your hand on somebody's purse and go, hey, I'm resting. No, they don't feel secure in their property. According to the majority opinion, it doesn't matter that the unlawful search included the exterior of Dorff's property or is performed by a drug-sniffing dog. She said there's no asterisk to the Fourth Amendment excusing the unconstitutional acts of law enforcement when they are accomplished by means of a trained dog. There's no clause in there. I haven't seen that in the Fourth Amendment. The justices vacated Dorff's conviction and reversed the Ada County judge's denial of his motion to suppress evidence. Now the case returns to a district court to proceed with the motion to suppress in place. Well, they suppressed the evidence. They didn't get nothing on the guy. They got him for no driver's license, I guess. Two justices, Greg Moeller and Chief Justice Richard Bevan, wrote dissenting opinions. Moeller disagreed with the idea that Nero placing his paws on Dorff's vehicle constitutes an illegal search. Moeller said the majority decision returns the court to murky and uncertain legal matters. No, the dog was on his property without probable cause. As far as I know, and you notice when they have these canine dogs, you ever notice the cop will go, run, run, and wherever he taps, the dog sniffs or jumps on the car. You ever notice that? You know what he's doing? He's getting the dog to alert. And there's a certain signal they have where the dog will go, Arr! And they go, right here, right here, right here. We can go inside the car now. The dog found something. The dog didn't find something. He's reacting to his training. Now, Bevans, in a separate opinion, reiterated his view from an earlier case that a drug-sniffing canine instincts aren't the same as intentional police intrusion. Well, kind of they are, because, again, they slap the car. You know why they're doing that? The dog is responding to what he's trained to. You know, it's like when you have a trick dog. You ever go to those dog shows and they go, and the dog jumps up and grabs the biscuit? When they snap, the dog is, Pavlov's theory. Google Pavlov if you want. For justices to equate a drug-sniffing dog instinctually jumping onto the exterior of a car to a government agent placing a tracking device on a vehicle stretches logic beyond the breaking point of reasonableness, Justice Bevans wrote. Well, really it doesn't. Because you can't just take a dog and go, we're going to go around your car, all right, bud? Why? Because we can? No, the police are using that dog as an extension of themselves to search your vehicle without your consent. Because obviously they're saying it was trespassing. They didn't have his consent. If they had his consent, it wouldn't be trespassing, would it? So that dog is an extension of those cops. Booyah! Thank you to those three justices at the Idaho Supreme Court for doing your job.